Gay goose, shush. Hello everyone and welcome back to Midnight Violets. Today I've got a tutorial for you showing you lots and lots of different ways of using the BarryM Dazzle Dust. That's all these little things in glass jars. It doesn't necessarily have to be these that you use, any powder eyeshadow will do. It's just lots of different ways on using this sort of type of product. So I've used it highlighting on my face, I've got it sort of as a liner, all my eyeshadows, and also I've even got it on my lips as well. So this video was something that one of my lovely subscribers said she'd like to see, so that's Emma on Twitter. So I really hope that you find this useful, and I hope that everyone else finds it useful as well, so keep watching. So I'm just going to start off by using my Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I'm then going to use my Pixie Epoxy, which is by Fyrinnae. They're an indie company. I'll link it down below because it might be something you haven't heard of. This is a sticky base to use on my eye to get the Dazzle Dust to stick a bit better. If you don't want to go to the effort of getting one of these, just any sort of cream eyeshadow or something a little bit stickier than a primer will do. Just need a tiny bit. The first Dazzle Dust I'm going to use is actually a fine glitter dust, but they're very similar. They still come in the same jars. This one I think is 21. The truth will be what's written here though. It's a nice bronzy shade with some silver glitter in it. And I'm going to use it with a Urban Decay eyeshadow brush. So a nice sort of stiff one, something like a concealer style brush would do best. So if you pat your brush into the product, so if you get the lid and pat it into the lid like this, then it sets the product into the brush a bit better. And then pat it onto the eye. The next Dazzle Dust I'm going to use is number 11. So it's a nice charcoaly shade. I'm going to be using it with an e.l.f. contouring eye brush. Again, I'm going to do the same method of patting some onto the brush into the jar. And then getting the lid and setting it into the brush as well as getting all the loose powder off. This one here I'm going to give a tap because I don't want it to be as intense. This is the colour that I'm using in my crease. Just going to start at the outside and blend it. I'm going to be using the same shade again, so that's number 11 for my liner on the top. I'm using I'm not quite sure what you call it, sort of like, Mac call it a mixing medium, so we'll call it one of them. It's the e.l.f. Makeup Lock and Seal, and I'm going to be using it on the Eco Tools angled eyeliner brush. So if you get your brush, and you just drop it on. I tend to give it a bit of a twist so that it sort of goes through the brush a bit better. Sounds a bit weird, but yeah. So again, if you put your brush into the product, set it into the brush a bit better in the lid. You might not want to do this step in the lid as it is wet, so if you want to use something else then go for it, but this is mine and it doesn't bother me too much, so I'm just going to use the lid. And then all you need to do is just use your eyeliner brush to line your upper lash line like you would with any other product on this brush. The benefit of using the wet bit of it makes the colour more pigmented and it makes it sort of darker as a liner. If you do find that it's coming through a bit sheer, it's because your brush is too wet and you haven't got enough powder on it. So all you need to do is put a bit more powder onto your brush. And the final way on the eyes that I'm going to show you how to use this is on the lower lash line that I have used here. So this one is in number 99 and it's a really nice indigo shade. So this time I'm using an Eco Tools smudge brush. It looks like this, and I'm going to use the same method of patting it into the jar and then into the lid. I'm going to pat it off quite a lot. I'm just going to run this brush along my lower lash line. You need to be quite careful here not to get the powder in your eye, which is why tapping it off like this can be really helpful. Next I am just going to use an eyeliner. This is my Topshop Kajal pencil in crushed charcoal. I'm just going to line my waterline with these because I don't want to use the Dazzle Dust on my waterline. And finally I'm going to finish off the eye with some mascara. This one here is the 17 Vavavoom. So now we're going to finish off the rest of the face. For my cheeks, I'm going to be using this Natural Collection blush in Rosy Glow. These are really cheap, they're about $1.99 from Boots, and I'm just going to be using it with a e.l.f. blush brush. Now that blush was a matte shade, so I want to sort of highlight and make my face glow a little bit more. So I'm going to be going in with another Dazzle Dust. This one is in number 3 and it's called Pink Gold or Gold Pink or something like that. And it's a really, really nice pale pink with a slight golden sort of duotone to it. And then I'm going to be using this Eco Tools blend brush, which is pretty much a huge eyeshadow brush. And I'm literally going to kiss it to here, so touch it really, really softly. And then pat it into the lid. To be honest, you could just use your man that's in the lid. Again, tap it off because we don't want too much product. And just run it along the tops of cheekbones. I'm also going to run it a tiny little bit on my brow bone. So for the lips, I'm going to be using this MUA Makeup Academy Lip Boom. This one is in OMG. It is quite sort of scary looking in the tube, but I'm just going to literally pat it onto my lips. So I'm going to get a really, really sheer coat of it. And then to help make that a bit more even, I'm just going to rub it with my fingers. And then to add a slight bit of sheen, I'm going to use this Accessorize lip gloss. It's just a normal squeezy tube ones, and this one's called Celebrity. And then also I'm going to highlight the centre of my lips as well. So I'm just going to be using this Dazzle Dust in shade 3 again. So it's the same one we used to highlight the rest of my face. And again, I'm going to use the same brush, but be careful not to double dip with it. So don't go on your lips and then back in the pot, because you're not going to want lip gloss and things like that into your eyeshadow. Get the brush. I'm going to pat it just on the centre, just to make my lips look a bit fuller. So there we go, that's the completed look. I hope this video has been helpful to Emma, who's the nice girl that said she'd like to see this, but I really hope that everyone else found this quite useful as well and found some different ways to be using their Dazzle Dusts. It doesn't necessarily have to be used for Dazzle Dust, because I know that they're not particularly available outside of the UK, but it will translate pretty well with any other sort of powdered eyeshadow, so whether it's indie stuff or just any other powdered eyeshadow you have. So I really hope you found this video useful. If you do have any other requests, then do let me know. Do let me know, and I will get something up for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye!